very, very shortly. James McAreavey, our history man, you're very welcome. How are you?
Good morning,
You're joined with me by William Kelly.
Morning, Ron.
And it's good to see you. And William, you're the brother of Raymond Kelly. And
that's correct.
We find
yes.
Raymond's portrait in the town hall in Newry.
That's right.
And he's the lad, a young Newry man, a young sailor. He went into the Bay of Biscay, dived in, saved many people, a number of people, before going back to try and save another, and perished himself. I think in broad terms that's
exactly,
the outline
yes,
of
right.
it. And James, it's significant because now the courage of Raymond Kelly and the courage of a soldier out of Newry, Michael Blaney, are being recognised by the Ulster History Circle in awarding blue plaques to Newry.
Yeah, that's quite right, Rowan. The Newry Maritime Association has made representations to the Ulster History Circle to have these men and their achievements recognised. And the Circle is a voluntary organisation based in Belfast, and they've been awarding these plaques to people who have made a significant contribution to their community since the early 1980s. Now, at present, we have 4 in Newry. The last one being was erected for John Mitchell and John Martin.
Oh, yes.
On the house in Drummond.
Yeah.
Anthony Russell and the Young Irelanders group got that done in 2010. So we've been in touch with the History Circle over the last 2 years to see if we could get recognition for these 2 men. Both of them were awarded the George Cross, which is the highest civilian honour. It ranks next to the Victoria Cross. Now, Newry is unique in that we have 2 men, as you said in your introduction, Michael Blaney and Raymond Kelly. Both these men got the crosses.
This is Mr. Blaney.
That's Michael Blaney there in his uniform with the Royal Engineers. They both got the George Cross in entirely different circumstances.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Blaney was awarded the George Cross. He died on, believe it or not, Friday the 13th of December, which is next Friday, 1940. And he was a young professional man. He was the son of Charles Blaney, who was the local town surveyor.
Yeah, surveyor, yes, yeah. And there's ancestry still. The descendants are still here today. In Newry.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's an
Blaney's
extended,
are here. It's so well known.
an extended family.
So what did he do, James?
Well, he followed his father, and he went to 3rd level education in Dublin, and he graduated as a civil engineer.
Yeah.
He got a job with Newry Urban Council, and he was employed as an engineer. And at the outbreak of war, obviously made a principled decision that he was going to leave the comfort of his professional job, and he joined the army.
He didn't have to, as you say, a principled decision, because he didn't have to. It wasn't compulsory.
No, he
for
wasn't
him to enlist.
He wasn't conscripted, or it wasn't. There was no pressure on him. He had what would have been then a well-paid job as an engineer with the council.
What were the circumstances of his death?
Well, he was in mainland Europe and got wounded, was sent back to the UK for convalescence, and when he recovered, the Blitz had just started in September 40, and he was seconded to the bomb squad because of his expertise. He was promoted to acting captain, and he has been mentioned in operations in the London area in September, October and November. And then on the day that he died, he received a call to attend the scene of an unexploded bomb had been discovered in North London. So along with 8 other men in his squad and a police inspector, he went to the scene, which was beside a local primary school. He began work, as he always did apparently, alone, working on the bomb, and they got it pulled out from under the rubble, and seemingly the bomb started to swing. Captain Blaney moved forward to steady it. It exploded, and all 10 men were killed.
My God.
He was taken back to Newry, and he was buried, believe it or not, Rowan, sadly for the family, on Christmas Day 1940 in St Mary's on the Warrenpoint Road.
My dear, 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 dear. You never had the opportunity, William, to get Raymond's body home.
No,
Lost
we never,
at sea.
No,
He
Raymond,
rests in the deep.
Raymond's rested in the Bay of Biscay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. What are your memories of Raymond Kelly?
My memories, I was a young man and at school in the Abbey, and Raymond went back to sea, and that was all I knew. And he said when he would come back the next time, he'd bring me a monkey home from Rio de Janeiro, and I was looking forward for the monkey.
How old a boy was he?
He was 19. 19. He was about 6'2".
Yeah.
And he was the breadwinner of the family. There were 6 of us. My father died just after I was born. So there was 6 of us.
Yeah.
And times were very hard. And Raymond was the benefactor for us all, kept us going for the...
He was a merchant Navy man.
Merchant Navy man, yeah.
And it was a collision between ships, was it?
No, it wasn't a collision.
Storm.
It was a storm in the bay. There was a ship called the SS Famagusta, and it was going to a new life in Cyprus.
Yeah.
With a few directors. They'd got together and they were going. And Raymond's boat, he was coming home from, actually he should have been home earlier, but his ship took fire and they had to go back into Rio de Janeiro to get it fixed up. So then they came, and as they're coming through the bay, this happened. The Famagusta got into trouble.
Yeah.
And they radioed the Empire Plover, Raymond's boat, to assist them. And the waves, as wrote in the paper, were 14 foot high. They were raging in the bay at that time of the year, February. And then they got into trouble, and they had, according to the papers, there was a lifeboat sent from the Famagusta, and they got into trouble and they were thrown into the sea. And Raymond left the boat, jumped into the water, and he took out the chief engineer, George Peppernell, and he brought him back. And he went back in again, and he brought out the director of this, one of the directors, a fellow called Robinson, and he took him back out. And then he went back in again to rescue the lady. And he had her and was bringing her back on board, and the ferocity of the waves took both of them away. In the ship, there was only one man left that ship, Raymond.
Raymond. He did it.
Captain said in the report of the paper there, he was the bravest man he ever saw.
My God. What do you think it was in the character of Raymond, in the willingness of Raymond to sacrifice? What do you think it was that...
It's the way he was reared. He was brought up in Newry. He was a lover of people, I would say, and it's the way my mother brought him up. Yeah. And I'd say when he saw those people,
he couldn't not have.
It was natural for him to do what he did.
The way it was the Newry way.
Yeah, the Newry way. Yeah.
I think when you think about it, I'm just listening to Willie and the way you were asking the question there, and really it's the epitome of the phrase from the gospel, greater love hath no man. And these men are linked, both of them. Raymond Kelly here, a young man of 19, Max Blaney was 30 years old, but when you look at both of them, they're linked by raw courage, unquestionable bravery, and both of them died in the service of others.
Absolutely, clearly so.
And if we look here, Rowan, you can see this is the Albert Basin.
Yeah.
Here we've got River Street to the right, where Raymond grew up. And just over the bridge here, you've got Blaney's house there just before you come to the Dominic Street Junction.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you look just 600-800 yards apart, these two lads were reared in that area, in what was called Sailor Town.
Sailor Town.
And I mean, you came from just the other side of the bridge again.
That's right.
You know,
right,
so I
that's
mean,
right.
you're inextricably linked into the story as well.
We breathe the air of Newry, don't we? And that's it. When we come to play a bit of music, I've selected a piece here, Sean, that we will be playing presently. And we're doing it in memory of the two lads. And it's Maurice Lennon's St. Patrick's Cross. It's a huge piece of music, a most beautiful piece of music. So in a moment we'll be playing that. So the blue plaques, was it an uphill struggle, or were they readily willing to participate and to accede to your request?
It was, there never was going to be any question, Rowan. It was a matter of satisfying the protocols, a waiting list,
Yeah.
and, you know, basically waiting for their name to come up. But once they came to the top of the pile, there never was any question.
And where will the blue plaques go, James?
Well, in the case of Max Blaney, that plaque will be sited on the former family home in Bridge Street, opposite the DSS building.
Oh, yes.
That's where young Blaney was reared. In the case of Raymond, number 7 River Street, 5, 7 and 9, those sites are now occupied by Redmond Tiles.
Oh, yes,
And Benny and Sean Redmond have given permission for the plaque. The family would like it to be erected on or near the site, the former site of the family home. So on Redmond Tiles building, the Raymond Kelly plaque will go up. Now, it's going to be a first, Rowan, for the circle, because this will be the first time since they started in the early 80s that there has been a dual unveiling of circles in the one town at the one time. You know, so...
Well, you know, as they say around these parts, fair play to you and to the Maritime Association, because it was your proactivity that brought this into focus.
May I say great thanks to James here and the Maritime for making this happen, because we owe James a big deal.
Absolutely. And now, for you and for your families, the Maritime Association, and indeed for the memory of the two men, Kelly and Blaney, George Cross recipients, each, the work of Maurice Lennon, St. Patrick's Cross.
Thank you, Rowan.
Well.